Have you ever noticed how most royal dramas focus on the king or the crown prince, but rarely the one standing just a step behind the throne? That's exactly why stories about grand princes feel so fresh, because they live in this constant tension between power and powerlessness, privilege and pressure. Today, we're diving into 5 Korean dramas that center on grand princes, characters who are not the chosen heirs, but often end up carrying the heaviest emotional and political burdens. And honestly, I think these stories hit differently because they feel more human, more conflicted, and sometimes even more relatable than the typical chosen one narrative. So as we go through each drama, I want you to think about this question. Would you rather be the crown prince with all the responsibility or the grand prince with all the freedom and none of the security? Perfect Crown 2026. Let's start with Perfect Crown because this one really flips the traditional royal narrative into something modern and surprisingly sharp. The story follows a conglomerate heiress who enters a contract marriage with a grand prince, and right away, that setup already screams tension. You have Song Hui-ju, ambitious and fully aware of how status works, choosing to marry into royalty not for love, but for elevation. And then there's Grand Prince Ian, played as someone who technically has royal blood but lacks actual power. That contrast is what makes this drama so compelling. What I personally find interesting here is how the Grand Prince isn't romanticized as some powerful figure. Instead, he feels almost trapped. He has the title, but not the authority. And in a modern setting, that translates into something very real, the idea of having privilege on paper, but still being powerless in decision-making. It's frustrating, and you can feel that frustration in his dynamic with Hui-ju. Their relationship isn't just about romance, it's a negotiation. It's about survival in a system that values hierarchy above all else. And I want to ask you this, do you think a relationship that starts as a contract can ever turn into something genuine when both sides are constantly calculating their next move? Because in this drama, love feels like a risk, not a reward. And that's what keeps you watching. To My Beloved Thief, 2026. Next up is To My Beloved Thief, and this one brings a completely different flavor with a mix of romance, fantasy, and social commentary. The story revolves around Hong Eun-jo, who lives a double life as a healer and a thief, and Grand Prince Do-wol, who falls for her without fully understanding who she really is. Now, let's talk about why this works so well. The Grand Prince here isn't just dealing with palace politics, he's dealing with identity. And when the story introduces the body swap element, things get even more interesting, because suddenly, status becomes meaningless. Imagine being a prince one moment, and then waking up in the body of someone society looks down on. That shift forces him to see the world differently. And honestly, I think that's one of the most powerful storytelling tools. What I love about this drama is how it questions the idea of worth. Is someone valuable because of their title or because of what they do for others? Eun-jo helps the poor, risks her life, and yet she's considered inferior. Meanwhile, the Grand Prince is respected by default. That imbalance is frustrating, and the drama doesn't shy away from it. But here's where I want your opinion. If you were in Do-wol's position, would you still fall in love knowing that the person you care about is hiding something major? Or would the betrayal outweigh the feelings? Because this drama really makes you sit with that dilemma. Under the Queen's Umbrella. Moving into historical territory, we have Under the Queen's Umbrella, which is honestly one of the most emotionally layered royal dramas out there. The story begins with the death of the Crown Prince, leaving a massive power vacuum. And suddenly, the Grand Princes are no longer just secondary figures. They become potential heirs. Grand Prince Songnam stands out here, not because he's perfect, but because he's forced to grow. And that's something I really appreciate. He doesn't start off as the obvious choice. In fact, he feels like someone who wasn't prepared for the spotlight at all. But through his mother's guidance, Queen Imhwa Ryong, he slowly transforms. What makes this drama hit hard is the family dynamic. This isn't just about politics, it's about a mother trying to protect her children in a system that pits them against each other. And Songnam's journey reflects that pressure. He's not just fighting for a throne, he's fighting to prove that he deserves to exist in a space where expectations are brutal. Personally, I think this drama shows the harsh reality of royal life better than most. It's not glamorous, it's exhausting, and it makes you wonder, is becoming king actually a victory or just the beginning of a different kind of suffering? I'm curious what you think. Would you step up if you were in Songnam's position, or would you try to escape that fate entirely? Queen for 7 days. Now let's talk about heartbreak, because Queen for 7 days is basically emotional damage in drama form. This story follows Grand Prince Jinsong, who eventually becomes king, and his love story with Shin Chae-kyung. What makes this drama unforgettable is how it shows that gaining power often comes at the cost of personal happiness. Jinsong's rise to the throne isn't triumphant, it's tragic. He gets what he's supposed to want, but loses the person he loves in the process. And that contrast is devastating. I think what hits the hardest is how helpless the characters feel. They love each other, they want to be together, but the political environment simply doesn't allow it. It's not about making the wrong choices, it's about having no choice at all. And this is where I want to challenge you a bit. Do you think love is enough when the world is actively working against you? Because this drama suggests that sometimes it isn't. And that's a tough pill to swallow, especially if you're someone who believes love conquers all. Grand Prince, 2018. Finally, we have Grand Prince, which leans heavily into rivalry and ambition. The story centers on Lee Hui, a grand prince who becomes entangled in a power struggle with his own brother. And if you like intense conflict, this one delivers. What stands out here is the sibling dynamic. It's not just about who becomes king, it's about what each brother is willing to sacrifice to get there. Lee Hui is portrayed as compassionate and thoughtful, while his brother represents unchecked ambition. And watching that clash unfold is both thrilling and uncomfortable. I think this drama raises an important question about leadership. Is a good heart enough to rule, or do you need a certain level of ruthlessness? Because in many ways, Lee Hui's kindness becomes both his strength and his weakness. And let's be real for a second. If you were in a situation where your own family member was your biggest rival, how far would you go to protect yourself? Would you stay true to your morals, or would you start bending the rules? This drama doesn't give easy answers, and that's what makes it so engaging. So after going through all 5 dramas, it's clear that Grand Princes are some of the most complex characters in Korean storytelling. They exist in this gray area where they're close to power, but never fully secure, and that uncertainty creates some of the most compelling narratives. Whether it's the modern struggles in Perfect Crown, the identity crisis in To My Beloved Thief, the emotional growth in Under the Queen's Umbrella, the tragic love in Queen for 7 Days, or the intense rivalry in Grand Prince, each story offers something unique, while still exploring the same core idea. What does it mean to live in the shadow of a throne? And now, I really want to hear from you. Which of these dramas are you most interested in? And more importantly, do you think being a Grand Prince is a blessing or a curse?